Hey, business building warrior. This is Jim coming at you from Silent Sales Machine Radio, the podcast that was recently voted #1 in the industry for Amazon sellers. Hey, we're very excited that you joined us today. Thank you for giving us some of your time. I'm going to make it very worth your time today, especially if you're still exploring what business strategy you might be most interested in when it comes to making money online, specifically with Amazon. You may or may not be aware that Amazon has, I don't know, we could probably brainstorm 12, 15, 20 different ways to make money with Amazon. And some of them are pretty cool. Some of them are very intriguing and interesting. We have seen ads or people talking about, hey, this is great. I'm making so much money as an affiliate for Amazon or whatever these different models are that you've heard. Well, let me just cut straight to the chase with you. My 20 plus years of e-commerce experience, having been around literally thousands of people who made it and made great incomes, and people even more so who didn't make it, who struggled and flailed and kind of bounced from opportunity to idea to new ad that they saw to a podcast episode, and they tried it for a few weeks, this new strategy. I've seen it all. And something I'm very proud of, if you're new around here, you should pay attention to this. If you've been around our podcast for a while, you've listened to 10, 15, 20 episodes, you've heard a couple of these things before. But this is the only podcast that features hundreds of success stories from students following a very specific program. Our Facebook group, which is free, has 3,000 plus posts of people saying, hey, this works. Wow, I'm finally making money. Look at the results I'm getting, guys. 3,000. That's validation. What is that model? I'll tell you what it is in a moment. It's all the exact same model, which is just one of the 12, 15, or 20 possible ways you can make money on Amazon. So don't think that all opportunities are equal on Amazon or even across the internet. You knew that, right? There's a lot of shiny object chasing going on in e-commerce and internet marketing. A lot of people are bouncing from thing to thing, like I just mentioned. There's only a few that work really well from this vantage point. Low risk, low cost to get into it, high odds of success if you do the work. There's no simple model out there where you just kind of push a few buttons and money starts flowing. A lot of people would like to convince you that that's possible. It's not. We've never seen that business model. You've got to be creating actual value to real customers, selling actual products or services or information to real people, and them finding value in it to build a real business. That's what we do here. We teach you the principles of building a real business, and then we go after the lowest hanging fruit opportunity on the greatest e-commerce site on the internet. There's many ways to make money there, but what I'm going to do today is talk to you about some of the ways that you might be tempted to try, some of the things you might be interested in right out of the gate. And I'm going to talk you down to the one that's creating all these incredible success stories. And before you start thinking, well, that sounds restrictive, Jim, why would I want to go with just that one? We don't want to keep you there for the rest of your life by any means. We want you to build momentum, a business you can be proud of, a system, a machine. You're putting $1 in, you're getting $2 or $3 out. This is great. You want that stability, and then you can go try these other business models. You'll have the credibility, the experience. You can speak from a place of authority saying, yeah, this is what I'm doing over here. Let's step into some other opportunities and use that momentum to continue to build other income streams. We're all about multiple income streams around here, but where do you start? What's that first stream if you've struggled, if you've bounced around? Let's talk it through. Now, I'm going to limit the scope of our discussion today to the Amazon specific opportunities that a lot of people are tempted to try right out of the gate. The failure rates on all of these is astronomical, meaning your odds of actually ever making any money with any of the business models I'm about to give you are slim to none. Even if you're really good, really diligent, follow the program, stick with it, you'll meet some people who do okay. You'll meet a lot more people who are struggling. They're just not getting it done. Never mind the long-term stability. Just because you made money this month, is it going to keep going next month? That sort of thing. There's one business model that we teach to all of the proven Amazon course students who come into our community. Our coaching students, 99% of them start right here. This is where all of our success stories come from. I'll hit that model at the end, and I'll tell you exactly how to get into it and exactly how simple it is. But here's the list of models that might be tempting to you, that you've heard people talk about. You've had people maybe consider doing it. You've seen them try it, and probably haven't seen many people succeed except the people selling the courses, trying to teach you, convince you, and teach you how to do the model. But let's start at the top. Brand building, launching your own product or helping other brands get on Amazon, specifically private label, meaning bringing a new product that hasn't existed before to Amazon. Maybe you go to China and you buy some stuff and you put your own brand on it. And you sell that as a new product on Amazon's catalog. Horrible, tragic model. I'll go into that more in just a minute. The next one is KDP, creating books, making books of, self-authoring, self-publishing. Yeah, I know some people who are doing well with that. In many cases, they've got hundreds and hundreds of books that they've published, and Amazon has started to push back a little bit against that just massive onslaught of low value, low content, one sale every 6 month kind of books. Because their catalog is just stuffed with them. It's not as compelling of a business model as some people make it out to be. Now, I'm not saying there's no opportunity there. We do teach that model. But if that's all you do, you're going to be working full tilt to make an extra few $100 a month, odds are. It's just not a good starting point based on the sheer numbers, the volume of people who are trying it. If it's super easy to step into and push a couple buttons and crank out a few books, man, that means there's going to be loads of useless books that no one ever buys, clogging the catalog. It's got to make sense to you to present it that way. So that's one. Selling used books. Some people think, oh, that's simple. Okay, I can understand that. Just books. Well, I know some people actually, we've got some training coming in a company that does pretty well there, but it's hard to scale. You're not building a system or a business that you can step away from at some point. It's a lot of daily grind, a lot of daily churn, but there's some things you can do there. It's a somewhat interesting model, nowhere near as stable and consistent and scalable as is the replens model that we teach, which I'll talk about in a moment. Next, drop shipping. Please don't make me talk you out of that. The appeal of drop shipping is I don't even have to pay for my inventory. I don't pay for it until something sells. And then I go pay for it and have it shipped. Don't fall into that trap. Trying to drop ship on Amazon or anywhere else for that matter, in my opinion, is a dead end business model. I've seen thousands of people try it. I know of exactly 0 people succeeding at scale with drop shipping. The only people you hear talking about success with drop shipping are people who are trying to sell you a course or coaching or training about drop shipping. Literally no one else that I know of is succeeding there. One little caveat: if you have a great relationship with a vendor, you know exactly how much inventory they have on 1 or 2 or a handful of specific items, and you're drop shipping those, okay, there might be something there. We've done that successfully ourselves in the past, but that's not the drop ship model most people are talking about. I'll dive into that more in here in just a moment. So let's go back through the list very quickly. This is not going to be a long episode. And then I'm going to talk to you about the replens model that we teach in the Proven Amazon course. Okay. So let's talk about brand building, either your own product or maybe helping someone else launch a product. You've got a friend who's got an idea, something they invented, and they want to get it on Amazon. You think, oh, let's go in together, make some money. No, no, no. Very rarely do I say never when I'm talking about business ideas and business opportunities, but I'm pretty stinking close to saying you should never try to launch a new product, a new idea on Amazon if you haven't already had success selling on Amazon, if you haven't already been a reseller for a while, you understand the landscape, you understand the moving parts. And the reason I say that is not because of personal opinion, it's just observation. After seeing literally thousands of people go down that path, there's no way more than 5% of them ever made any money. I've heard hundreds and hundreds of stories. We hear it literally every week in our community. Someone who's got a garage full of product they just can't sell because they went all in on trying to launch a brand on Amazon. They were enticed by a YouTube video typically that showed some success stories, convinced them to buy a course that cost somewhere between $3,000 and $10,000, convinced them to buy somewhere between $5,000 and $50,000 worth of inventory, convinced them to pour somewhere between $5,000 and $30,000 into paid advertising, and they're sitting on this painful lesson that costs them anywhere from $15,000 or $20,000 up to $100,000, and they don't have anything to show for it. I've heard that story so many times. It's painful. And a lot of people have the perception that's what it means to try to build a business on Amazon, is to try to launch your own product. It's just so ingrained. Amazon loves when those products show up. Amazon makes a ton of money when people try and fail at growing a business on Amazon. All the paid ads, all the fees. Yeah, Amazon's fine with you trying and failing, but the odds are not in your favor if you start there. So we have a responsibility to our students to start them out at the lowest risk, lowest cost, highest odds of return model. And we'll get to that. But it's not private label. It's not launching your own brand. It's not bringing a new product to Amazon. Your odds of success are abysmal. I know people that are spinning their wheels in frustration, thinking, if I just got a little more creative, if I just did the right paid ads, if I just did a little more marketing, I could get this from losing money every month to maybe breaking even or making money. And they just stay in that churn. It's painful to watch. Don't go down that road, please. Hey, give us a call. If you want to talk about any of this, I should probably mention this here. Go to silentjimdotcom, click on coaching, or the direct link right to that page is silentjim.com/book a call. And you can see a text, a phone number, and you can also hop on our calendar, schedule a time, and let's talk through this. We'll show you a better way. All right, let's talk about KDP next, Kindle Direct Publishing. That means making books and selling them print on demand. As you get a customer, then print a copy. It sounds great. And yes, I know some people who are doing well. And if you are a diehard author, you love writing, you love creating content, okay, play with it. But it's going to be more of a hobby level income for quite some time. I know of no one who hopped in, did only KDP, and were making a killing within a few months. No one. It takes, in some cases, years to develop a catalog big enough, and you'll have a book that does well for a while and then it falls off. You just don't get rich being an author. That's always been true, and it probably always will be. If you didn't know, being an author is kind of like being a pro golfer. For the millions of guys who would like to be a pro golfer, there's about 200 people in the world that make a decent living playing professional golf. The same with being an author. For the millions of people who have written books, there's a few thousand that make a decent living just from the proceeds from having written books. Now, I don't know the exact numbers, but I do know the vast majority of people who start trying to create content as their only income, making KDP books, print on demand books, that sort of thing. It's a dead end. It's a struggle. They end up getting out of the game. It's a few extra $100 a month kind of thing for a whole lot of effort. Same thing with merch by Amazon, exact same thing, trying to create t-shirts and that sort of thing. Same thing. 1 out of every 1,000 people or so are doing okay. The rest struggling. They think, oh, this is easy. I could do that. I'm creative. I can do that. It doesn't require your creativity to go down the business model that I'm going to share with you at the end here. I want you to get into the lowest risk, lowest cost, highest odds of success business model, not spin your wheels for the next few years on a passion project that amounts to nothing in the end, or just a little trickle of income. That's not good enough. All right, so what's next? Drop shipping. I already beat up on it a little bit, but let me just make you aware that as soon as you are unable to deliver a product to a customer who's paid Amazon, you're going to get a black flag on your account. You do that a few times within a short period of time, your account is permanently fried. There's no coming back. So there's 2 kinds of people who drop ship on Amazon. Well, we'll say 3 kinds. First, the people who go all in, buy some course training, get a whole bunch of ASINs, and it's working okay, and they haven't been suspended yet. They're a few months in, and they're thinking, oh, this isn't too bad. I think I can make this work. Next is just like group 1, except now they've been suspended because they got 3 orders in a week that they couldn't fulfill on because their supplier ran out of inventory, and they're drop shipping and they're saying, hey, got an order. And their supplier's saying, oh, we just had someone come in and buy the last 400 units of that product. Sorry, it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks before we can restock. So you're emailing your customer and letting them know, hey, sorry, we don't actually have that product. Would you like a refund? That's not good enough. Amazon will fry your biscuits. It's over. It's game over time. If you can't deliver the product that you said you had, game over. You're done. And the only way to succeed at drop shipping is at scale with a massive catalog. I had a guy on the podcast, actually. He had scaled to the point where I think he had tens of thousands of products he was trying to drop ship on Amazon. And he said it was a nightmare. The margins were so thin, running that whole machine was just pulling his hair out. He made way more money going to the replens model with a few thousand ASINs that he actually had in his possession. Instead of drop shipping, he actually bought the inventory first and sold it. He was making way more money, far smaller team, far simpler model. And that was a few years ago before things got even simpler than they are now. We'll get to that next. Don't drop ship. So what's the third kind of drop shipper? It's someone who just has a few items and they're very responsibly managing that small catalog, maintaining a fantastic relationship with real-time updates on inventory levels. Even then, you're kind of rolling the dice because all it takes is a couple of dropped shipments where a customer pays and then you have to cancel the order and you're done. You're toast, you're fried, your account is shut down permanently. Amazon holds all your money. It happens all day, every day. Ask anyone who helps sellers with Amazon account policy and violations. They'll tell you drop shipping is for crazy people who want to lose their account. It's just not a good model. Okay, finally, replens. What is it? It's helping fill the underfilled shelf space, the underserved and understocked and completely unstocked shelf space in Amazon's massive warehouse network. Hundreds and hundreds of warehouses around the United States right now have inadequate inventory or no inventory on the most popular items in their catalog. That's right. If you didn't realize it, Amazon's catalog of, I think there's like 5 billion products globally, something like that. 1.5 billion in the US, something like that. It take us 32 years just to look at all the products in their catalog in the US for a second each. Massive catalog. Well, a lot of those products are very popular, selling 50, 100, 500, 2,000, 10,000, 30,000 times a month. A lot of them are very popular. And of those tens of millions of products that are very popular, a lot of them are either unstocked entirely or understocked dramatically in Amazon's massive warehouse network. Don't think of Amazon as one warehouse where people go to find the best possible price. That's not how shoppers use Amazon for the most part. For the most part, they're looking for the convenience of speed and they're willing to pay a little bit more for it. If the price is higher than driving their car to the local store, they're going to pay more gladly. If they can have it by 4 o'clock today and not have to worry about the headache of driving in the car, going to the store, they're going to do that. And there's tens of millions of products that are understocked in that massive warehouse network. So just because there's one seller in Miami who has a cheaper price on that particular product right now, doesn't mean that you as a seller couldn't have a unit priced dramatically higher in, say, Seattle, and a customer who lives near Seattle, near that warehouse, would say, well, I don't want to wait 2 or 3 days for the cheaper price from Miami. I'll get it today by noon. Just shop in the warehouse near me. And if you're a smart seller, you've marked your prices higher on those underserved, understocked products. So it's not about winning the pricing game. It's about winning the game of having your inventory in Amazon's warehouse priced high enough that the people who want speed now have that option. Every day, millions of shoppers around the United States pay far less than they would have been willing to pay for inventory that will arrive from Amazon far later than they wish they could have received it. This has happened to you as a shopper. Just think about the way you shop. If you shop on Amazon frequently, you've had those times where you've looked at the delivery date and thought to yourself, I don't know if I want to wait 3 or 4 days or 5 days for this product. And if someone said, time out right now, I'm going to give you an option. You could pay $10 more and have it by noon. Are you in? And you'd say, yeah, I'd do that. That's an understocked ASIN. That particular product isn't sitting in a warehouse near you. It's sitting in a warehouse 1,500 miles from you and it hasn't been checked in yet. It's an understocked product. Even though it's popular, you got to wait 4, 5, 6 days. I thought it was Amazon Prime. What's up, Amazon? You're supposed to have a handful of everything in every warehouse in the US. They don't. They just don't. There's a big fat zero inventory level on a lot of the most popular products. So that becomes the opportunity for us as sellers to fill that underserved shelf space. Price high on popular items, easily sourced items, pay full retail, and your customers are gladly paying more because it's just not an adequately served product. Now, here's where the game gets simpler. You've heard us talking about this for several months. If you go back like a year and a half, 2 years, we're not talking about this at all. It used to be way more complicated than it is. But this software has come on the scene lately. 3P Mercury is what it's called. The best price, by the way, I don't want to forget to mention this. 3P, that's the number 3, the letter P, then the word Mercury, just like the planet. 3pmercury.com/friends. As a friend of this podcast, as a friend of our community, that's the most aggressive low price you're going to see anywhere. Get that software, and you've now got a simple 2-step process to take advantage of the business opportunity that I've just described to you, the replens business model. And you can hear dozens of episodes of our podcast, people talking about this. Our Facebook group's full of it. I have a webinar with 1,000 people registered that's happening tomorrow, people coming to learn about it. This is taking off like wildfire. What is it? 3P Mercury allows you to simplify the business of reselling on Amazon and filling that underfilled shelf space. Simplify it down to 2 steps. It's always been far more complicated than that. It's now been simplified down to 2 steps. And it's so exciting to watch this taking hold in our community and around other Amazon selling communities in the world. What are the 2 steps? Here they are. Go find products. Anywhere, everywhere, doesn't matter. Retail stores, you take some pictures, do some research. You buy a list from someone, a buy list service of some kind. You use the tools, Tactical Arbitrage, Arbisource, Nepedo. There's all kinds of tools that scrape and gather from websites. You do it yourself. You find ASINs inside of Keepa. I could brainstorm. We've got 60 different strategies in our evergreen sourcing system training, actually 60 different ways to go find ASINs in bulk. So you're sitting down in a single setting, finding 1,000 ASINs, 1,000 products to load into 3P Mercury. That's step 1. You're not looking for winning products. You're looking for products you can load into 3P Mercury, meaning I know where I could go buy this if I needed to. And at some point, if the pricing makes sense, I'm going to buy a few units and sell this product. That's it. It's a legitimate ASIN that doesn't have any red flags. It's not a generic branded ASIN or something that's going to get you in trouble. That's where the training comes in. We teach you how to avoid the potholes on the ASINs you choose. So you've got good, clean ASINs that are viable, and you're just dumping them into the software. Numerous people in our community, by the way, are dumping 1,000 ASINs every day into 3P Mercury. That's step 1. Dump it all in there. Step 2. What's step 2, Jim? Well, let the software do its thing. Let the software tell you when to buy which products. It tracks and monitors those products for you. Now, you'll have to tell it the price, your buy price, and that may change. We're in the process of completely automating, updating the prices of the inventory. You tell us where you're buying it, tell us what the price is. The software is going to go find any updates. So you're kept up to date on, hey, which products make the most sense right now based on what we're seeing on Amazon and based on the price that is available for this product. When does it make sense to get into it? The other thing we're monitoring is what's the availability level in Amazon's massive warehouse network? Is this underserved? Is it understocked? If so, might be time to jump on this one with a few units and go make some money. That's how simple it can be. Pour the product into the software, let the software tell you which products make the most sense to buy. That's the replens business model. Now, it's running a real business. You don't just click a couple buttons and go on your merry way. This is a real business. It's going to take you 10 or 15 hours a week of work to get this thing ramped up. You're going to, on an ongoing basis, either yourself or someone you hire and train once you understand the business is going to have to daily touch this business, but you can put it in your pocket. We call it the business in your pocket for a reason. You can take it anywhere in the world. Where you live doesn't matter. We've got students all over the world buying their inventory in the United States online, having it shipped to a prep partner in the United States. There's hundreds of them that receive the inventory for you, inspect it, label it, send it to Amazon. You don't have to touch your inventory to do this model. You do have to buy inventory, and that inventory gets sold. So there's a time between buying it and getting your money back. There's a cash flow element to this, but once the machine is turning and churning, man, it gets fun fast. And the problem that our students have consistently, that bottleneck they hit is they run out of money before they run out of great product that they can be investing in. You'll hear it over and over and over again in our community. It's not a matter of finding good products. It's a matter of managing your cash flow so you can step on the gas as effectively and efficiently as you can with minimal risk. That is the game. The good product is everywhere. The software, 3P Mercury, makes the game easier than it's ever been. So there's a link. Now, you may have missed this webinar because as I'm recording this, it's going to happen tomorrow. So you probably missed it because this episode may not be out in time. But go to this link, 3pmercury.com/ webinar. I'll stick this link in the show notes along with every other link I've mentioned. 3pmercury.com/webinar. We'll have a replay there, or we'll have an upcoming training there, completely free. We're going to show you those 2 steps in detail, how to use the software, exactly how it works. Now, you're still going to need training if you're not a seller, not experienced in e-commerce. Even if you are, there's probably some things you need to unlearn. If you'd like to get a coach and go further faster, we definitely have that option. Or you can use the Proven Amazon course, go at your own pace. We want to get you up to speed on the basics of this model, how to recognize a good product. That's important. You're still going to have to make good inventory buying decisions. The software is going to make recommendations. You're going to have to make rational decisions based on your risk tolerance, how much money you have to put into your inventory at the time, how fast you're wanting to go, that sort of thing. So you need to be trained on the basics of this business. That's what the Proven Amazon course does. That's what our coaching does. Every coach on our team is doing this business successfully at scale. That's who our coaches are. That's a mentor. That's someone who can disciple you through the steps involved in building this business. If you want to have that conversation, I gave you the link earlier, silentjim.com/book a call. Text us, call us anytime, hop on our schedule. Well, that is a very rapid exploration of the different opportunities involved if you're going to use Amazon as your core base for your business, which I highly recommend. Amazon is half of all economic activity online in the United States. They're half of all of it. And it's growing rapidly. If you didn't know this, I love sharing this statistic because a lot of times people will think, oh, I'm too late. It's huge. It's already taken over. All the opportunities gone. No, you need to know this. You need to have this fact memorized. Less than 20% of all retail spending in the United States is online. That's right. Google it. Check it out yourself. Ask any AI. What percentage of retail spending in the United States is online? Less than 20%. That's US government data. Now, it's growing rapidly. It'll soon be 25, 30, 35, then 40%. That's hundreds of billions of new dollars in spending, new opportunity. Amazon is expanding rapidly every quarter, more sales than the previous quarter. It's been true for a very long time. E-commerce is exploding. Learning to help fill the underserved shelf space as more and more people begin to shop online is a very valuable skill that will open up all kinds of great doors of opportunity, including some of the opportunities that I mentioned earlier, which are bad starting places, but those can be income streams if handled properly as you learn the basics, which is what we want to teach you to do. By the way, just because I'm calling them basics doesn't mean this is going to be a small business. We've got multiple 7-figure sellers in our community doing very well, putting great margins in the bank. That's the kind of success stories you can hear on our podcast. All right, that's enough for now. I wanted to give you a quick breakdown, hopefully talk you out of making a bad decision that wastes a lot of time and money and gets you on a good proven path. If you're ready to go and you want to get started for $39 a month, get into the Proven Amazon course, provenamazoncourse.com. It's worth thousands of dollars. We've broken it down to just $39 a month. That price will be going up soon. I've been saying it a while, giving you plenty of warning. Please lock in at $39 a month before the price goes up dramatically. The monthly price will be significantly higher at some point soon, probably towards the end of the year, 2025. If you're grandfathered in, you're locked in for life. The last time we did this, we jumped from 29 to 39. We still have people from over 5 years ago paying $29 a month because they love the constant updates, the new creative ideas that go into the Proven Amazon course library. If you're a paying member monthly, you get everything. Just like with Netflix, think of it as the Netflix library of all things creative Amazon income strategy and a lot of e-commerce, a lot of Walmart strategy in there too for Walmart sellers and eBay stuff. There's all kinds of good stuff in there. ProvenAmazonCourse.com. That's where you go. We'll step you through it if you're new. We've got a getting started roadmap right inside the library that holds your hand, and we've got other options for you as well, depending on what kind of learning style you like. We've got a little bit of something for everyone. But let's wrap this one up. God bless you, business building warrior. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hopefully you found this helpful. Reach out to us. Let me know if you have any questions. You can email me directly, jimcockrum@gmail.com. I'll stick that in the show notes as well. I'd love to hear from you. Give me your feedback. Let me know what you want to hear more of, and we'll focus on that. All right. Until next time, thanks for joining me. We'll have more good episodes very soon. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us today for today's episode. But before I let you go, let's spend a couple minutes with a tool that we've seen emerge in our community that's getting very popular, and we're hearing a lot of good things about it. It's, among other things, a website scraping tool that helps find ASINs and opportunities that you can sell on Amazon. The A to A Flippers are loving it. Amazon to Amazon flips. There's a lot of cool features behind this software, and especially those who are paying attention to the way 3P Mercury is changing reselling, where all you have to do is find a bunch of ASINs and put them into 3P Mercury, and then the software tells you what to buy. Well, where do you find those ASINs? Arbisource is a great tool. The way to find the special deal that they've set up for us on Arbisource is silentjim.com/ARB, as in Arbisource. We're about to meet the creator of Arbisource. His name is Callum. He sponsored our community a while back. That's one of the ways that we introduce new tools and ideas to this community is we allow them to sponsor an event. We say, yeah, it looks like you've got a good thing here. We let a few users use their tool, give us the feedback. If we really like what we're seeing, which in this case we do, we bring them on for segments like this and give them a little more exposure in the community. And they, in exchange, offer us a special deal to listeners like you who are building a business. So let's spend a couple minutes with Callum from Arbisource. And again, the link to check out the special deal they have for our listeners is at silentjim.com/ARB. Let's get Callum on the line right now. So, hey, Callum, welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me.
Appreciate you doing this. Now, you're over in the UK, right? And you've got this tool, Arbisource, that's catching fire over here. A lot of people using it in our community here, US-based mainly sellers. So I'm looking forward. This is the first time we've ever met. We've corresponded a little bit, but tell me a little bit about Arbisource and why you did it and what it does. Just the microphone's yours, man.
Yeah, so I started selling on Amazon in 2019, and it was just a sort of a side hustle thing. And I had a software developer background, and I was getting really bored of copying and pasting titles from a retailer into Amazon, calculating the fees, checking what I could sell. And so really Arbisource started as a very simple web scraper where I would pull some data from a retailer and literally create a link to the Amazon product page. And that was it. That was really as far as I'd planned to go initially, just something to help me with my own business. And I started that right when the first lockdown happened in COVID 2020. But as I'm sure a lot of people that sort of build anything and realizes, okay, well, now that I've got that basic thing, if I had this extra part to it, that'd be quite nice. Maybe this extra part, and obviously starts kind of growing arms and legs over time. And I realized that if it's useful to me, it's going to be useful to some other people. So yeah, essentially Arbisource is an online arbitrage and wholesale sourcing software. So we scan hundreds of online retailers, compare the products to Amazon, calculate fees, show you all the sort of important data you need to make a sort of confident buying decision, and then present that to you in various different ways. We started with the sort of basics of general sort of store scans, what we call the vault, where it's sort of cash results, and from there we build sort of unique features into Arbisource that I don't think anyone else has.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, the reason I reached out to you were a sponsor of our community, and after that, we kind of leave it up to. We'll give you some initial exposure, then we leave it up to you to make an impression and start creating excitement and success stories. That's kind of what we've done for many companies over the years with our podcast and things in our community. And your name keeps coming up. We're hearing a lot of people saying, whoa, okay, I'm finding a lot of great ASINs with these guys. This is good stuff. So I was excited to get you on here. What do you think makes Arbisource different? What sets you apart feature-wise when it comes to finding good inventory to sell on Amazon? If you had to give your shortest explanation of what sets you apart, what would you say?
I would say that I would break into sort of three key features, one being price drops, where we actively monitor the clearance section of every single one of our retailers. And as soon as something changes on that, we instantly scan it and put it into price drop. So that's basically a live feed of any product we find that's dropped by 25% or more. We tend to find around 20,000 a day just for that price drops section.
Let's stay there for just a minute on number one, monitoring price drops. And I assume you're way faster than anything. Like, for example, people will monitor Keepa for Amazon to Amazon flips, but that's slow.
Yeah.
Keepa data is slow. So when you say fast, what are you typically seeing?
Yeah, so we are checking at the clearance section of every retailer every 10 minutes. So really, if it changes within 10 minutes, we will scan that immediately and it will drop straight into the price drops.
So it's real-time data. Yeah, on sales opportunities, price drop opportunities. That's cool. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, exactly. So the next one actually follows on from what you were saying with the Keeper data is that we've just recently released a massive upgrade to our Amazon to Amazon Flips section as well. So we
Okay.
now also have business flips as well for the business site if you've got sort of quantity discounts. And we ran a test over 2 days compared to Keeper, and 90% of the Amazon to Amazon flips we found that weren't on Keeper yet. So we found them before Keeper, and 70% of them actually never appeared on Keeper. So they were bought by our users before Keepa even became aware of them.
Hey, I was talking just today. It's interesting you brought that point up. Ryan on our team, who created our Amazon to Amazon training, which is one of the modules inside the Proven Amazon course. He made that same observation. He said, I'm finding all kinds of stuff that Keepa's missing
Yeah,
using
oh,
Arbisource. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, yeah. Even before we sort of introduced Amazon to Amazon flips, we saw from our own internal charts that we were seeing drops that never appeared in Keepa because we are regularly checking. Obviously, Keepa has to check, hundreds of millions of ASINs or 10 millions. We're checking roughly around 20 million. So it's a smaller number that we're checking. And so we can check them much more regularly and get much more
Yeah.
up-to-date data.
I think it was like 1.4 billion ASINs
Yeah,
able
there
to
you go.
keep as that's just the US, I think, something like that
Yeah,
with Keepa US. So yeah, an unimaginably large number. It'd take us 35 years just to look at all of them. So
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're, would you say 200 million? Well, how many?
It's around 20 million in the
20
US.
million as of right
Yeah,
now in the US. Yeah, right.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
growing, I'm sure. But I mean, that's it's
Okay.
just representing massive opportunity for so many sellers. Yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic. And I know the way a lot of people, before we move to 3.3, the way
Mhm.
a lot of people are using Arbisource now is just to find, big chunks of ASINs that maybe it doesn't make sense to buy right now, but it might at some point in the future. And they're pouring it into 3P Mercury. So a lot of people are kind of, they're looking for these great tools that they can just find great ASINs with and then pour them into 3P Mercury software. So I think there's an emerging camaraderie there between those two tools that I'm witnessing happen right now.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people now using the sort of the reverse search function in Arbisource. So sort of loading a bunch of ASINs, finding the sort of matches on there, downloading them, and then exporting to things like 3P Mercury. That's definitely, especially in the last couple of months, has been exploding.
Yes, it's an emerging opportunity for sure.
Yeah.
And what's the third distinction? I'm sorry, I kind of cut you off, but I'm
No, no, that's fine. So the third one are custom scans, which effectively let you add any retailer you want into Arbisource and keep all the results to yourself. So any new retailer you add is not shared by store scans or in our vault price drops. They're just yours to keep. So we've had that since the beginning, and we've incrementally made it easier and easier. At the start, you needed to know some HTML. You needed to sort of dig right into the code. Now it's a point and click Chrome extension. So either if it's on a site that we already have in Arbisource, you can literally just click a button to export that particular category into Arbisource and it'll scan it. If it's a Shopify site that we don't currently have, there's no setup at all. You literally just click a button to scrape the entire site. It downloads all the products from that store and then sends over to Arbisource to compare. And if it's not a Shopify site or we don't have it, then it's literally a few clicks to say, here's the title, here's the image, here's the price, and then Arbisource learns that and can scrape the site for you.
That's tremendous. So you can find other, you've got, as an Amazon seller, hopefully everyone realizes you've got to only source from authorized sources, but that's millions of websites out there.
Yeah, yeah,
So then you can scrape it with
yeah,
Arbisource and monitor it. And it's a feature of having the tool that you're able to do that with any website, even if
yeah,
it's not already in the database. That's great, man. I love it.
yeah, yeah.
Very creative tool. So tell me about a couple of have you got like some top users and who use and love your tool and their stories? Just give me a couple
Yeah.
of real stories.
So we've got a success channel on our Discord where we sort of run a monthly giveaway for people to post their successes and there for things that they found through Arbisource. So I was speaking with one user just a couple of days ago that started with us, I think it was February, so about 8 months ago now. They were purely manually sourcing beforehand, but they were sort of finding it really difficult and time consuming because they had a full-time job. And then they started using us sort of 2 months in, and they mainly focus on custom scans and A to A. And within that 6 month period, of using Arbisource, they've sold over $150,000 in revenue. And now in the last 3 months, they're consistently sort of generating $5,000 in profit. And they say 90% of the leads are coming from Arbisource. So yeah,
Tremendous.
that's one.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I think people can relate with real stories of how people use tools. I mean, this is impacting real sellers. In our community, we have dozens of people who have started using Arbisource within the past, what, 90 days or so?
Yeah,
And I'm hearing nothing but positive
that's
from
good.
the people who are using it. Yeah, just
Yeah,
I've heard so much good. So yeah, you've created a great tool, and it's exciting to be working with you. The link, I probably mentioned it in the intro as well, but the link that we set up that points people right to a special deal I think you've set up for us,
yeah,
silentjimdotcom/ARB,
yeah.
ARB, as in Arbisource. And this is Callum with Arbisource. It's great having you here, man. Any final thoughts or comments before we part ways? Anything else you'd want the listeners to know today?
Yeah, just if anyone has any sort of further questions or wants to know a little bit more about the software, you can either contact me through email, join our Discord group, and contact me through Facebook. I'm happy to answer any questions at all.
Yeah, we'll stick those links in the show notes. Fire those over to me
Perfect.
here after we're done today, and
Yeah,
I'll add those to the show notes for this episode. All right, Callum. Well, thanks for joining me. Very different time of the day over there where you're at, but
yeah,
it's good finally meeting you. And I think we're going to be seeing more and more students from our community
perfect.
jumping over and using your tool to help them find great inventory. So, yeah, thanks for your time. Thanks for building a great tool. It's good to see you.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you, Callum. Bye for now.